We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing.
10, 9, ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
From the recent successful landing of the Perseverance rover, we need to look at how far mankind has come. And so, in today's video, we will be talking about the first mission to the moon and how it changed the space exploration industry. On July 20th, 1969, the American astronauts Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin became the first ever humans to land on the moon. About 6.5 hours later, Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon. As he took his first step, Armstrong famously said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The Apollo 11 mission occurred 8 years after President John F. Kennedy announced the national goal of landing a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s. The historic launch of the Apollo 11 mission carried 3 astronauts towards the moon. 2 of them would set foot on the lunar surface for the first time in human history, as millions of people around the world followed their steps on television. The American effort to send astronauts to the moon had its origins in an appeal President Kennedy made. He made this in a special joint session of the Congress on May 25, 1961. He said, "I believe the nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth." At the time, the United States was still trailing the Soviet Union in space developments and Cold War era. America welcomed Kennedy's bold proposal. In 1966, after 5 years of work by an international team of scientists and engineers, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, conducted the first unmanned Apollo mission, testing the structural integrity of the proposed launch vehicle and spacecraft combinations. Then, on January 27, 1967, tragedy struck at Kennedy Space Center in Florida when a fire broke out during a main launch test by the Apollo spacecraft and Saturn rocket. 3 astronauts were killed in the fire. Despite the setback, NASA and its thousands of employees forged ahead. And in October 1968, Apollo 7, the first manned Apollo mission, orbited the Earth and successfully tested many of the sophisticated systems needed to conduct a moon journey and landing. In December of the same year, Apollo 8 took 3 astronauts to the dark side of the moon and back. And in March 1969, Apollo 9 tested the lunar module for the first time while in the Earth's orbit. That May, the 3 astronauts of the Apollo 10 took the first complete Apollo spacecraft around the moon in a dry run for the scheduled July landing mission. And finally, the Apollo 11. At 19:32 a.m. EDT on July 16, with the world watching, Apollo 11 took off from Kennedy Space Center with astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins aboard. Armstrong, a 38-year civilian research pilot, was the commander of the mission. After 240,000 miles in 76 hours, the Apollo entered into the lunar orbit on July 19th, the next day. At 1:46 p.m., the lunar module Eagle, manned by Armstrong and Aldrin, separated from the command module where Collins remained. 2 hours later, the Eagle began its descent to the lunar surface, and at 4:17 p.m., the craft touched down on the southern western edge of the Sea of Tranquility. Armstrong immediately radioed to the mission control in Houston, Texas, a now famous message: "The Eagle has landed." At 10:39 p.m., 5 hours ahead of the original schedule, Armstrong opened the hatch of the lunar module. As he made his way down the module's ladder, a television camera attached to the craft recorded his progress and beamed the signal back to the Earth, where hundreds of millions watched in great anticipation. At 10:56 p.m., as Armstrong stepped off the ladder and planted his foot on the moon, he spoke his famous quote, which he later condemned was slightly garbled by his microphone and was meant to be, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you.